Hi, so this is my week 8 monologue for the module WT4028. So this week I moved from PowerPoint slides to Google Sites. So this is it in preview mode. I've got my home section, material sourced, the exploration section, discovery section broken down to analysis, research and investigation, the create section, which is broken down to develop your ideas, experiment and realize. And then I've just got a section with my weekly diary, so it's the PowerPoints that I've done so far, which have been put onto the site, as well as my weekly monologues. So just to cover that, this is my homepage. Material sourced has been shown before. It's wood sourced, so wood sourced 80/20 history of the source material. That's the original material. These are the problems I encountered while processing the material. Through the sander, the rip saw, chopped it and ripped it and cross cut it. Then this was the second plank that I had sourced, and that's similar, sanded, cut the edges off, and yeah, so that's all been covered before. Other old material that I'll be reusing are screws and corner brackets. New material was just the veneers that I got from the college. Contrasting colors, as I said before, 8 strips, 8x8 square 64. Other new material would be the finish beeswax and just glue, wood glue and contact glue. So just going on then, exploration. It's very similar to the PowerPoint. It's just laid out differently. Environmental issue, social issue, initial ideas. So these were my initial ideas on environmental and social issues, not zoning in on a particular issue for the time being. And then there's some Pinterest ideas. Then, having decided on a problem statement, I now focused on initial ideas with the problem statement in mind. So these were, the initial problem statement was a chess table. So these are just my sketches. Need finding. So that was the problem statement: design and make an attractive small table. This was my mood board, and then I refined my need finding. So I had decided that a table was too bulky, and I moved to a lap chessboard. So that's my need finding there. Discovery. These are the quick links buttons. So I've analysis is blank at the moment. I haven't moved everything yet from Google or from PowerPoint slides to the Google Sites. So research, again, it's the history. I've covered most of this in my weekly monologues already. These are my joins. From the feedback, it was said that needed more information on the joint work. So I did further research down further in this research section. That's just a quote from Mother Teresa. So there's nothing worse than loneliness. It is the worst form of poverty. So loneliness was the big social issue I chose to work with. Again, this has all been in my monologues. So this is just a new bit of research. I researched body measurements, so I found the standard percentile sections of people's sizes. So you've got stature, eye height, shoulder height. Obviously, all this isn't necessary for my project. So this is just my research. In my investigation, I focus in on certain aspects of the information here. But this is my further joint research. There's quite a bit of it here. So it's joints used in boxes, joints used in stool and table frame joints. Again, that's pretty similar to what I've already covered, but I've got a bit down here on creating wooden plug, soldered joint if I was working with metal, nut and bolt, welded joint, riveted joint if I was doing a butt joint, biscuit joint over here, rebated butt joint, gluing plastic, joints used in making frames. 5 is gluing, making landboard, different screws and nails, different boards being created here. You've got your dowels, you've got your joint blocks and your wooden blocks, and you've got your glue. So that's the discovery research. Then just investigation. I focused in on chess. Here are the measurements that are used for my measurements that I came up for my project. So sitting height was important. Elbow wrist length for reaching out to move the chess pieces. You've got your hip breadth and your knee height. So that's 9, 15, 19, and 22. So I just have them highlighted here. 9, 15, 19, and 22. Then again, I've got my hand length for reaching out for the pieces, your index finger breadth, proximal index finger length. So they're just for picking up the pieces, having the right chess piece sizes and square sizes would be important, especially for the user, which is an elderly person. So they're the measurements I found from research and investigation. Then just investigating on dovetail slope. Dovetail joint was the joint I decided to work with. So you've got your hardwood and softwood. Obviously, teak is a hardwood, so it's the ratio 1:8. So that's it with the discovery investigation. So then create is very similar to what I have in PowerPoint slides again. So develop your ideas. That's all been shown before. That's the working drawing of the project I'm making. So then I've got experiment. This was the original prototype I made, but I didn't think I'd actually need it again, so I kind of just shoved it in my bag. Kind of used it as a tray to carry the veneers and stuff around in. So it's gotten damaged. It's gotten a little, it's gotten damaged and squished, so it's no use to me anymore. But it was handy at the time just to get the size and see if there's any changes necessary to be made. So there are the different slopes I tried and tested, and again, most of this has been shown. Then I show my veneers, different colors that I was testing, and I went with this one here. That's the board, the chessboard on different users' laps. So they're not the actual users, because I wasn't able to test it on an elderly person because I was away in college and I wasn't around to see my grandmother or anything. But this is the realize section. So I had the veneers cut up in the lab on Wednesday. I managed to get them all cut up, so I have them done. And then I started the CNC section. So that's just the CNC, the kind of pre-run on the computer to see what it would look like. Did it on the Shinx machine in the lab. So these are just pictures, double-sided sticky tape, taped it down in the corner of the Shinx. That's just the computer in the lab. That's it working away on the recessed piece. So what actually happened was the square came out 200, well, obviously not a square, came out 280 by 290. So what happened was we sanded it down again while it was done, sanded it down, and then redid the whole thing 280 by 280. Second time it came out in the wrong position though, so that changed the size of the actual chessboard, and then I also made a small mistake while ripping it, so that changed the size again, so it actually came out a lot smaller than I was planning, but that can be changed. Like, I mean, the only reason I had it big was so that it would fit on the user's lap, but it still does fit in the user's lap. It's just a little smaller. It's actually square now. I had originally had the pieces out a little longer on the side, out here to the sides, so that the used or the pieces in the game that were lost to your opponent could be rested on the side. There still is space for that, but yeah, that was just a small mistake. We're rushing to try and get it done before the college closed on Thursday, so there was a few mistakes made. That's it for the realize. Then the last section is just the weekly diary. It's just I have my weekly monologues and weekly PowerPoint presentations just shown on one page. They're just taking a little bit of time to load, but yeah, that's it for this week. So next week I'll start my high fidelity prototype. I'm just trying to get. I left all the cardboard in college, so I'm just trying to get new or source new material. Like I left it down in Limerick, so I'm just sourcing new material back home. I must also research further in terms of adhesives and finishes. And like I said, during the rush, I processed my actual project. Mistakes were made with the positioning of the CNC squared, and also mistakes were made in relation to size when ripping. So, if I was in the lab, I would be able to rectify these, but I can't. So, I will show them in my actual prototype. So, yeah, that's it for this week. Thanks.